right, everybody, you know what time it is. The Real Talk Sports Show is coming up right now. Welcome to the Real Talk Sports Show. I am your host, the Minister Jonathan Simmons. And we thank God for all those of you who decided to join us here this morning, but also want to give a big shout out to those who are watching on the replay. Thank you so much for joining us. Appreciate you. So this is our Saturday sports update, and it is wild. A wild weekend. We're right smack in the middle of it. As you know, for those of you here in Atlanta, talk is buzzing on our three major sports. Baseball, we got the Braves down in spring training. In terms of basketball, we got the Hawks trying to hold on to the playoff spot, and a big trade rumor. Big trade rumor that may come to pass here in Atlanta. And last but not least, the Atlanta Falcons have been dominating the news as far as NFL talk with their moves in free agency. And my question is, do they have another move waiting on the defense? And who do you guys think they should get in here on defense? I got a question for you. How about this fella out of Philadelphia? But we'll ask you about that in just a little bit. Remember, for those of you who are watching us on YouTube, I got to ask you a favor. If you have not done it already, please subscribe, and subscribe. Please, we're trying to get to that not mysterious, that big number of 1,000 subscribers. We're getting close. We're at 841. And we would love to have you join us and be part of that move to 1,000 subscribers. We're going to be doing some good stuff coming up as the weather now is getting warmer. We're going to be back on the road. So we look forward to catching up with you guys. We're looking to do one place we've been talking about for a while. For those of you who watch the show, our good man Sully, he's got a hamburger joint out in Johns Creek. So we're going to pack up and head out there and check him out. We'll have some giveaways. We'll have some good stuff. I know you said, but brother, we've been talking about this for a while. I don't care. Sometimes it takes a little while for us to get moving on these things because like yourselves, I got another job. I work full-time at Allen Vigil Ford in Lincoln. And speaking of that, let's give them a big shout out. Right now, Allen Vigil Ford Lincoln, located at 6790 Mount Zion Boulevard in the city of Morrow, Georgia. Well, let's look at the ad. Hold on.
Are you in the market for a new vehicle? Well, check out Allen Vigil Ford Lincoln in Morrow, Georgia. We have one of the largest inventories in our area for both new and pre-owned vehicles, so we're sure to have something for everyone. Family owned and operated since 1982, customer satisfaction is our number one priority. Come see our full lineup of vehicles and find the one that best fits you. Give us a call today, 678-726-5739, or shop us 24/7 online at allenvigilford.net.
Yeah, make sure to look me up, guys. I can help you out if you need a car for yourself, you need a car for your family, or for your business. I really do primarily B2B sales. I'm the commercial account manager there at Allen Vigil Ford. But like I said, I help all kinds of people with their vehicles, personal vehicles, whatever they need. it's no problem. We would be more than happy to help you out. Give us a call, 678-410-9833, or you actually can shoot me an email to my show email. There it is right there for those of you who are watching, jsimmons@realtalksports.net. And like I say, you can just call or text me, 678-410-9833, and we'll hook you up. And listen, it doesn't matter, even if you're like me and have bad credits. We got a guy that handles credit situations. So, yeah, don't worry. Come on, give me a call, and we will get you situated. And another thing, too, wouldn't it be nice to deal with somebody that you think, hey, I can trust this guy. He seems like an honest guy. Isn't that what you want when you get a car or any vehicle? So yeah, just hit me up and we'll take care of you. You know what? Sports is a funny thing. It's a lot like life. Well, it's part of life. And sometimes, we can be smelling ourselves and feeling ourselves, and bad things happen when you do that. And March Madness is probably the biggest equalizer, the biggest kind of, yeah, equalizer of anything that goes out. And that's why, even though, half the time we don't know these schools, we don't know the players, we don't know anything. The bottom line is, for about 2 weeks, March Madness shows us really true examples of how life works and how it's important for you to two things. One, never get too confident. And number two, never count yourself out or believe the naysayers when you are doing something or you have a dream. March Madness does it every single year, and this year has not disappointed. It has been incredible what has happened in terms of, once again, bracket busters, upsets. And that's my question to you. Is your bracket busted already? Because I don't know about you, because mine already. First of all, I didn't even do a back bracket. I know you're saying, Minister, you didn't know, because I'm tired of putting the bracket in and then have madness, which is why it's called March Madness, happen like it did yesterday, really the past couple of days. Let me give you, for those of you who have been asleep, let me give you some updates on what has been going on in March Madness. If you just woke up, it has been must-see TV, as we always expect. Where we go. First of all, the first four. Big shout out to HBCUs. It was a day of HBCUs on Wednesday, March the 20th. Not one, but two HBCUs got their way into the big dance. Well, technically, when the big dance, they do what they call the first four, where they kind of take a total of about 12 teams, 10 teams, and have them square off to actually get into the tournament. So we got a big shout out, number one, to Alabama A&M. Alabama A&M 81, Austin Peay 71. Alabama A&M led by Chad Moody. Moody in 32 minutes knocked down 24 points, and he was assisted mightily by Omari Pete Green, 18 points, 7 rebounds, and also Cameron Tucker from the guard position, a double-double, 11 points and 13 rebounds. Yep, that's right. You heard it here, guys. Alabama A&M, who actually got a pretty good football team as well, knocked off Austin Peay, and they now find themselves into the next stage of the dance. Now, here's the crazy thing. Alabama A&M won their conference, and their record was under 500. But they did what they had to do. That's what makes March Madness. Let's get you another upset special. Another team that shook up the world, Grambling. The Grambling Tigers, known primarily for their outstanding football teams, put on a spectacular performance, knocking off Montana State 88-81 in overtime. Hit some big shots late to send the game in overtime, and then totally dominated, outscoring Montana State 16-9 in the overtime period. And it was led by the trio. Everybody's got to have a trio. Antoine Burnett, 18 points, 5 rebounds. Jordan Smith, 18 points, 9 rebounds. And Jamil Hofer, 19 points and 2 rebounds as Grambling State. Big shout out to them. Matter of fact, it made such big news that the vice president Kamala Harris called them and personally congratulated them for their performance. So big shout out there to the HBCUs. And speaking of that, going on at the same time, right during the Final Four, you will have for the very first time the HBCU All Star Game. So yeah, big shout out to my good friend Travis Williams, who's doing that. He used to be a part of high school basketball here in Atlanta area, and the Lord has blessed him that he now has the very first HBCU All Star Game, and literally going to be held right there where the Final Four is going to be held in Phoenix. If I had the ducats, I would probably going out there, but I don't, so I won't. But that could change. If you want to go ahead and donate to the travel fund, I'll be more than happy to do that. You can hit me up on Cash App. It's C Media ENT $ C Media ENT. If you want to send the minister out to the Final Four, I'll be more than happy to go out there and represent you or your company. I'm being real now, I'm serious. If you want to do that, that's it. C Media ENT. You can hit us up there. All right, let's look at some other upsets that happened. From right in my backyard, a team that is more known for placing presidents versus basketball players shook up the world with the SEC's Auburn Tigers being the beneficiary of a shocking upset by the Elis of Yale University up in New Haven. Yale knocked off Auburn, and they now move on into the next round of the Big Dance. The final score was Yale 78, Auburn 76. Yale a 13 seed, Auburn a 4 seed. And Auburn and the SEC is out. See, you wouldn't want to beat you. They're out of there. Let's get a few more upsets for you. Then we're going to talk a little bit about just really quickly about a potential blockbuster trade that's going on in the NBA. It's not doing anything yet, but there's a good potential that may happen. Let's take a look here and see what else we have for more upsets in the tournament. And I say upset, it's really a situation where the lower seed knocks off the higher seed. Here's one here. This is not really upset because this team came into the tournament red hot. The North Carolina State Wolfpack, after winning the ACC, knocking off North Carolina, was only ranked 11th in the tournament. Well, they're telling everybody, you must be crazy. They knocked off the Big 12 champion, Texas Tech, 80-67. 80-67 knocked them off and got rid of them. The other big shocker, the one that really shook up the world, was Oakland. Yeah, Oakland. The Oakland Golden Grizzlies, 14th seed, knocked off a perennial blue blood, the Kentucky Wildcats, ranked number 3 in their region. See ya. Final score, Oakland Golden Grizzlies 80, the Wildcats 76. The Golden Grizzlies were led by a phenomenal performance. You get this all the time in the March Madness. Jake, I think is Goik, I think that's his name, 32 points against Kentucky, and he hit, I believe, either somewhere between, I think it was 7, no, might have been 10 3-pointers, as he single-handedly led his team to just a unbelievable upset of Kentucky, 80-76. Like I said, 32 points for the gunslinger from the Oakland Golden Grizzlies, and the Wildcats go down. Now I'm gonna tell you something. Here's the other thing that I wanted to say for a second. I don't want a misfortune on any team, but multiple SEC teams bit the bullet, including 2 big guns in the way of Auburn and Kentucky. And I'm kind of happy because remember I started off saying, hey, the thing about March Madness is it shows you in life that 2 things on both ends of the spectrum. One, you can't be too braggadocious, and on the second end, you can never count yourself out. Greg Stanke, the SEC, I guess he's the chairman of the SEC committee. I'll look it up here. He said some stuff that made me kind of irritated. And really, people say, hey, man, you're a Northern guy. That's why you don't like the SEC. No, it's not that. I just think that sometimes the SEC has from time to time flexed their muscle a little bit too much on the sports landscape, especially in football. and now they did it again in basketball. All right. He said basically or indicated that you know what, it might come a time where the at-large bid is going to have to be eliminated from the NCAA selection because the SEC has been expanded. They now have teams like Texas and Oklahoma. You also have, in the case of the Big Ten, they now have basically poached half of the Pac-12 or the former Pac-12. Pac-12 is going away after this year. And so he kind of intimated, hey, with these big conferences, we may not be able to have at-large bids for these quote unquote smaller conferences or mid majors. Well, boo-hoo to you, baby. Your big gun Kentucky, a legendary team, knocked off by a team called Oakland. I don't even know where. I guess they're Oakland, Michigan. I don't even know where they are. Out of there. And Yale, like I said, a team known for ambassadors and presidents. The guy that came on, he said, probably none of us are going to play in the NBA. He said, but on any given day when we get hot and play our game, we can beat anybody. So what am I saying to tell all this? What I'm saying is that let's stop trying to make professional. Let's stop trying to make college sports into professional. Okay, I know the NILs, and we're going to get some people on here to talk about that. Are paying athletes, which is in of itself, it's not. It's not that athletes shouldn't get paid for what they do, but the way they're doing it with the NIL. Because remember, that means name, image, and likeness. That's not the way it's being done. But anyway, all that being said, the college sports better be very careful, especially football and basketball. They better be very careful to make sure that they do not kill the golden goose. Because one of the reasons why college basketball and college football have been so popular is because of the fact that people like the idea of there's still some veiled innocence about the game. And like the young man from Yale said, we're playing because this is our time. We're not going to go to the pros. This is it for us. All right. So there's an energy that you don't get with the pros sometimes. And like I said, there's still some veiled innocence still going on. All right. Donna Jones from social media out of the Washington area says she loves March Madness because the players are playing with their hearts. That's exactly right. And this is exactly why March Madness is very popular. It's popular with the general public. I mean, here's a young lady that I've known her for years. I mean, she doesn't follow basketball every single week and here's the scores from the college games. But for that one, what was the song? Used to be that one shining moment for 2 weeks. March Madness dominates the mindset of sports fans and casual fans and just anybody everywhere because of the brackets and because everybody likes to see a Cinderella. Everybody likes to see an upset or the excitement, the energy. So college better be careful. I'm just saying. All right, we're going to take one last break. But when we get back, we're going to talk about a potential blockbuster trade in the NBA involving the Hawks. And the question to you, who should the Falcons get to bolster their defense? We'll be back with more of the Real Talk Sports Show in just a moment. Don't go nowhere.
Did you know that Allen Vigil Ford in Morrow, Georgia also has Lincoln? Over 35 years of using the Vigil Touch to provide excellent customer service, works hand in hand with the Lincoln Motor Company to provide a luxurious and seamless way to acquire your next luxury vehicle. Lincoln has an array of full-service complimentary owner benefits. These benefits include hospitality partnerships, service pickup and delivery, all which can be accessed through the Lincoln Way app. You can even contact the 24/7 concierge to have someone assist you. Come and see our great inventory of new and pre-owned Lincolns today. Call 678-364-7345 to make an appointment with one of our brand champions or shop 24/7 online at allenvigillincoln.net.
Hey guys, we're back here with more of the Real Talk Sports Show. Like I mentioned, I'm your host, the minister, Jonathan Simmons. Yes, I'm a real live minister. We'll talk about that at the end of the show. Please, if you'd like to follow us, our show, Real Talk Sports, the number 7. You can follow me personally at Minister J. Sim. Love to connect with you. It's always great to connect with folks that watch the show. I'm going to tell you something. It's always been funny for me because I'm not a guy that was originally in broadcasting. I didn't take that as a major or anything. And I got to tell you, I want to just say to all those of you who have done this, I appreciate you. I've been stopped in Walmart. I've been stopping at Sam's Club and the supermarket. I just want to say I appreciate those of you who say, hey, you know what? Aren't you that Real Talk Sports guy? I said, yes, that would be me. And the people have said to me, hey, man, we watch your show. We enjoy your show. Um, in some cases, we've done high school. Parents have said, hey, I enjoyed the interview of my son or watching the show. And I got to tell you, for me, that almost is as good as currency because this is we don't get a lot of sponsorship yet. So a lot of this we are, taking our own time, in some cases our own money to do these shows and to cover these events that you see us do. But I got to tell you, when someone comes up to me and says, "Hey, we like what you do," or "We appreciate what you do," that's like currency. So even I might look a little skittish when you come up to me. It's okay. I appreciate all your comments. All right, there is something that's been breaking on the news for you guys who are Hawks fans. Allegedly, there is a potential trade that is brewing that the Hawks would trade Trae Young. Yeah. Of course, this has been, popped up from time to time, and of course, every time when things like this happen, where a guy gets injured, and all of a sudden you get a situation where the team plays pretty well, okay, without that superstar. Once again, there is the trade speculation comes up, and two places that it is thought to be him going is out west, either to the Lakers or to the San Antonio Spurs. So I'm going to try to get this up here. What I saw here, and it had mentioned this blockbuster trade with him going to San Antonio. And let's see if I can grab all this here. Let's see here. Hopefully and prayerfully I can grab this. Here we go, right here. It says that San Antonio Spurs are rumored to be a spot for Trae Young. That would put him with Victor. I can't pronounce his name. The young man from France that's 7'6" almost. And what it would entail is him going to, it'd be like a three-team trade, him going to San Antonio. San Antonio sending a boatload of picks. Chicago would be involved where DeAndre Hunter would end up going to Chicago. The Hawks would get one of the Ball brothers. Basically, what it would do is if this trade would go through, and I don't think San Antonio will give them all these picks. They're talking about giving in this proposed trade, this is all proposed, that San Antonio will give the Hawks up to 4 or 5 first-round picks they've accumulated. Actually, giving the Hawks 2 of their picks back, giving the Hawks some picks from some other teams, and then getting Trae Young in return. The thing about it is that the reason why I can see this maybe happening for the Hawks, because in essence, they kind of have blown this whole situation with Trae Young. Now, Trae has had some tremendous years in Atlanta. He's been an all-star 3 or 4 times. And as I mentioned in the playoffs, especially a couple of years ago, 3 years ago now, he put on a performance for the ages. He was absolutely electrifying in those games. However, since that kind of half season where it seems like the Hawks were getting ready to take the next step, things have actually just kind of stumbled and bumbled to a halt. The big three they had set up, him, Kevin Huerter, and John Collins, have now been destroyed. Huerter's out in Sacramento. Collins out in Utah. In fact, just got posterized not too long ago. But anyway, so that's been disrupted. Now, keep in mind, DeAndre Hunter's still on the team, but he's been off injured. Now, keep in mind that in order to get Trae Young, they swapped the trade. They swapped their first-round pick with the Dallas Mavericks for Luka Doncic. Now, much to the Hawks' chagrin, and to, I say, Hawks fans to some degree, Luka Doncic has become a guy that, if he continues on this pace, will be a first ballot Hall of Famer. I'm not trying to say Trae can't get to Hall of Fame based on his numbers, but Luka Doncic, if he keeps playing like this, he will be a first ballot Hall of Famer. And the Hawks basically gave up the rights to him to get Trae Young. So it looks like the Hawks are looking to blow the whole thing up and start from scratch, but we shall see. But the rumors on the street is that Trae Young is being mentioned in a massive trade to go either to the Lakers or to the San Antonio Spurs. How about that? Now, We're going to wrap this up with some Falcons talk. As you know, the Falcons are retooling, rebooting. They have a new head coach. They have a new QB1 in Kirk Cousins. And they have an offense that already was loaded with such stars as, oh my goodness, my eyes. uh, they have guys all over the place in terms of Drake London. They have Kyle Pitts. They have Bijan Robinson. And a guy they don't talk about enough, they also have Tyler Algier. So they are loaded in the running back room, and they've just added a couple of key players into the wide receiver room. So it looks like their offense is ready to take off. That's great. But as you know the old saying, defense wins championships. So the question I have is, who should the Falcons add in free agency, or should they just say, you know what, there are some decent edge rushers and defensive players coming out of college. Should we just stay with the draft? Well, last week I talked about the idea of maybe being on Jadeveon Clowney, a guy who was at one point a top 3 NFL draft pick, and a guy that done very well for the Baltimore Ravens as part of their top defense. But this week, I want to talk about a guy I actually saw at the Super Bowl a couple of years ago, and that was Hasson Reddick. My question is, should the Falcons look after getting Mr. Reddick? Because this guy has put up some nice numbers for Philadelphia, and it is rumored that the Eagles might be willing to let him go and trade him. So is that a guy they should pick? Let's take a look at Hasson Reddick's stats. Let me see if I can find it right here for you. Last year for the Eagles, Hasson Reddick had double-digit sacks for them last year. And wouldn't that be awesome if the Falcons could get a guy that actually could put up, some legitimate numbers coming off the edge, a guy that could really be an impact player. His last two seasons with the Eagles, let me get it for you. 16 sacks in 2022, 11 more sacks in 2023. He got a grand total of 58 sacks in his career. He was traded to the Eagles from the Cardinals back in from the Panthers back in 2021. Now I'm just going to read his last 4 years as far as sacks again. Here we go. 2020 with the Cardinals, 12 and a half sacks. 2021 with the Panthers, 11 sacks. 2022 with the Eagles, 16 sacks. 2023 bounces back with the Eagles again with a total of 11 sacks. The guy is in his 7th year. He's not yet 30 years old, and I'm saying he would be a potential awesome candidate for the Falcons to bring in here. Now, if you want to kind of get a peek at him, go to our YouTube page, and I think it's in our Super Bowl playlist. You will see an interview that we had with Hasson Reddick at the Super Bowl when it was in Phoenix. So what do you think? Would it be great to add a guy like that, or do you think the Falcons should just kind of stay with the NFL draft and say, hey, we don't want to spend any more money right now on a defensive type player, and just see what we can get in the draft? So that's the question as we wrap it up. Social media lines are open here. You can hit us up right now with your reply. Should the Falcons go for Hasson Reddick, or should they just wait for the draft? What do you think? The clock is ticking. Dun, 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 dun. Okay, anyway. Yeah, so we got about another minute for you guys to pop in and let us know. We appreciate all those who've been watching so far on the broadcast. And again, big shout out for those of you who watch or listen on the podcast after the fact. Those of you say, look, man, I can't get up no 10 o'clock on a Saturday morning. I'm chilling. I'm not going to do it. Appreciate you so much for doing that. So again, I'll leave the question up. You can ask me on social media. I'll get back to you. Should the Falcons pursue a top free agent edge rusher like Hasson Reddick, or should they just stand pat and go for the draft? You can see some great draft contenders out there, guys like Jared Verse from Florida State, Dallas Turner. Everybody thinks pretty much they're going to draft at number 8, or Laitu Latu from UCLA. Question's yours. All right. For those of you listening to us on WIGO, the legendary WIGO, Page 1570, or on WIGO 1570 AM, we got to go. Remember, the preacher guy tell you, if you don't know the Lord as your personal Savior, Jesus Christ, you need to do that. He loves you. He died for you, and he's returning soon. I don't know about you, but you want to go to a happy place called heaven, not that bad place called hell, right? I'm just saying. All right, until next time we get back together, all you WIGO listeners, keep it locked right here on the station for more great talk and also for great music. All right, WIGO watchers and listeners, we'll see you again real soon. Take care and God bless. All right, for those of you watching on social media, again, we appreciate you for watching us and for tuning in on the broadcast. Hope you enjoyed us today. We come on every Saturday, 10 a.m. On all social media platforms. And for those of you who say, look, I'm driving somewhere, remember you can listen to us on 1570 a.m. in the Atlanta area or use the TuneIn Radio app. It's a free app. Download it. Put in WIGO in the search engine. Voila, you'll hear us listening to you right here and right now. Remember, also, you can find all of our shows on our YouTube page, which is at Real Talk Sports 7, or also you can find them on podcast platforms near you. Everybody, again, we thank you so much for joining us. And until the next time we get back together again, remember, nobody loves you like Jesus. He's the one that came here, died for you, and rose from the dead. And if you repent of your sins and believe in him, two great things happen. You become a citizen of the kingdom of heaven, number one. And number two, you become an adoptive child of God with all the rights therein. That means you now can go to God like a heavenly parent, ask him for anything you need or desire, and according to his will, he'll give it to you. And number two, if and when you die, you go to that happy place called heaven, where there's no pain, no pandemic, no bad people anywhere, and you get to see God face to face. How cool is that? And you avoid that nasty place called hell, where you would be with the devil, his demons, and all the most terrible people ever born upon the earth. I don't know about you, but like option number one is that option number two. All right, everybody, until the next time we get back together again, I simply say, as we do each week, God bless you and have a wonderful rest of your day or evening, whichever may apply. So long and take care. Bye bye now.